Peace ever, joy ever following you. Light ever, love ever radiating through. Hope ever, faith ever strengthening you. Life ever, breath ever nourishing you. And everywhere you go, may you always be home. And everyone you meet be messengers of peace. Let your light shine through, and your heart ever be true. Move in grace and gratitude, and walk in wisdom, sharing all that's good. Peace ever, joy ever following you. Light ever, love ever radiating through. And everywhere you go, may you always be home. And everyone you meet be messengers of peace. May we choose courageously. May we hope defiantly. May we love outrageously, and walk on lightly in humility. May we choose courageously. May we hope defiantly. May we love outrageously, and walk on lightly in humility. Beauty and laughter ever filling you. Friendship, affection surrounding you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Live Online with Heatherlyn episode. I'm Heatherlyn, your host. My pronouns are she, they. I would love for you to say hello in the comments, if you will. Let us know that you're here. I see that Hans Melby is here. Hello. I'm glad you like that song. We are closing the show tonight with a different song, so I thought I would kick us off and buffer it with that song. I'm glad you love it. Awesome. Please say hello. So tonight is a very special episode. We have been all this month of October celebrating the 10-year anniversary of my Storydwelling album that we released in 2011. I hope that you've maybe had a chance to see some of the beautifully nostalgic 10th anniversary edition lyric videos. I hired my good friend, my buddy, Ben Grace, to create those and assemble those for us. So we have each of the tracks from the Storydwelling album, and then photographs. Most of the photographs, mostly Jason took those photographs, either from the time that we spent recording in the studio, creating the album, the original album release concert, and then from some other things from that season of life. So it's been really fun for us, and I hope that you've enjoyed them too, taking a look back 10 years ago and being part of this journey. Some of you here have been on this journey with us for at least that long, and some of you have come along just in the past year. Whenever you have arrived here, we're so glad that you're here now. I come to you. We're live streaming from Denver, Colorado, the land of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute tribes. And we are wanting to know where you're coming from as well. So please do say hello. Tonight, as we celebrate the Storydwelling album 10-year anniversary, we have a very special guest tonight, a musician, he's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a producer, a studio owner, and an engineer, and does all kinds of wonderful things, and also is an extraordinarily wonderful human. Please welcome in the comments Matt Patrick to this show tonight. You can hear the uproarious applause, right, Matt? Yes.
Hi, everybody.
It's so good to be here with you. I'm trying to find the live stream on my phone as well, just to see if I catch any, comments of anyone arriving here. So anyway, how are you tonight, man? It's nice to see you.
I'm doing great.
It's been so long. Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of long, my hair is a little bit shorter than it was the last time that we were working on a record together. I had dreadlocks like you have, but mine were just about to my knees.
Just about to your knees. Mine are currently below my waist.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't wrap them all up and stuff. So
how long have you had them now?
Since 2009.
Yeah.
So how long had you had them before?
They were 20 years. It was 20 years exactly.
20 years. Wow. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. It had been a long, long time.
That is
with
a
the
journey.
same hairstyle. I was just done. And I just started having kids. And so, it was just time.
Well, and they can get in the way. Like if you need to move quickly, they can get, or they can get caught on things. Actually, mine got caught in my dresser drawer today. Oh, let's see.
Want to see.
Oh, yes.
Literally to my knees.
They really were epic, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible.
No more. Dreads no more.
One of my favorite photographs from the studio when we took a picture. So there was 4 or 5 days that the band came in and tracked all of the main instrumental tracks, right? And we took a group picture, and I remember you came behind me and put your locks around my head, and that's one of my favorite photos from that time.
This is what you have to look forward to. Right?
yeah. And you can see I've added a little color, and
that's great. I love it.
I have fun. I find different ways to tie them and all that. So man, you own the Library Recording Studio in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we created the Storydwelling album together. A magical place, I would say. It makes me think of like Narnia, because Narnia is in a book, right? And there's lots of books in the library. I don't know, whatever.
Yep.
But kind of that kind of vibe. And I wonder if you want to tell people a little bit about the studio.
Yeah. So when we did the Storydwelling record, I would have been there for 3 years if this is the 10-year anniversary. And so, so I've been there for 13 years, and it's a big, beautiful, it literally looks like a library when you walk in. It's just that there's a lot more instruments around. And so there was a recording studio in Minneapolis called 30 Year, and I remember that they had one big wall of books, and I remember asking Tom Herbers, the studio owner, if that actually helped the sound, and he said, oh yeah, definitely, because sheetrock is kind of an ugly reflection, glass is an ugly reflection,
sure,
but when
sonically
you go and speak up against a wall of books, it has just a really pleasing reflection to it. And so I decided just to put most of my walls, just fill them with books, and so the impetus actually for calling it the library came from my library ladder, which I had at my previous recording studio. And I needed it, it looked cool, but I actually needed it to get up to a loft where I just kind of stored all of my guitars and vintage keyboards and that sort of thing. And so it was while I was installing it that I thought, and then if I called this place the library, that would be such a cool name. And then before you know it, within 3 weeks, I think I found my first score of like 2,000 some hundred books from a Catholic church school in Minneapolis. And it was like $200 for 2,000 books. So it was a really steal, most of them hardcover. And honestly, every time I put up a new wall of books, the room just sounded better. It looked cooler, and it just became this really, like you said, a really magical place. And here it is 13 years later, and I'm as busy as ever. So I feel really, really fortunate about that.
Oh, I'm so happy for you too. And I believe just now I'm recalling how beautiful it was to create the Storydwelling album in the library recording studio. Right. Because I had that concept I was playing with for a while leading up to this album project. And to me, it is an actual practice that I take into my life. And it's now what I do a talk show now on these live streams called Storydwelling. And usually I have an in-depth conversation with someone and invite people into this practice of cultivating courageous, compassionate curiosity for ourselves and one another, recognizing the shaping nature of narrative. And I thought that the Storydwelling album would be a collection of songs that are about our shared story, the story we want to write together, and then songs that are about our very personal to my story. But then the actual being in the library recording studio with all of these storylines and narratives surrounding and dwelling in those stories, right? It was just a really beautiful
full immersion.
Full immersion. It was a beautiful connection and synergy for the project, I think, and I'm so glad we got to create it together.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play the songs. I wish that technology was advanced enough for us to. I see Leah is here, so hey Leah, and hey Amy, and Tiffany. Good to see you all. Please do feel free if you pop onto this live stream, say hello so that we can say hello to you. So happy that you're here. I'm going to play through the songs. Like I said, I wish that technology were in the place where you could actually play with me. Oh, Carl, kind of a newbie fan of 19 months. I'm so glad that we connected during this past 19 months, Carl. Appreciate your support and your encouragement in so many ways. So I wish that we could do full band live streams of this, but because of the technology, we get to do this together in this space, even though we're in two different states. So that's cool. I'm going to play through the songs, and y'all who are tuning in, Matt and I are just going to reminisce. So I'm going to play a song, and whatever flows, whatever I remember, whatever he remembers from making it, arranging it, producing it, recording it. I know that Matt remembers things about this process that I do not. So this is going to be really fun for me too. And this is our first time reuniting in years. So thank you for being here to celebrate the Storydwelling album with us and celebrating creative process and friendship too. So the first track on the album is When I Dream. I dream, it's like TV screens are on the inside of my eyelids, but I don't have a remote to take control, to choose my shows. Seems my fears come alive, no matter how hard I try to wake up. Now I lay my head down, hoping for surround silence. If trouble comes while I sleep, let there still be only peace. on my pillow. Still can't be consoled. God, I was told you'd never leave. Still I cry, where did you go? No matter how bad I want to believe, yeah. Now I lay my head down, hoping for surround silence. Let me awake to greet the sun, wondering where the night went. Now I lay my head down, hoping for surround silence. If trouble comes while I sleep, let there still be only peace. Let there be peace. Now I lay my head down, hoping for surround silence. Let me awake to greet the sun, wondering where the night went. Now I lay my head down, hoping for surround silence. If trouble comes while I sleep, let there still be only peace. Let there be peace. Peace on earth and in my soul. Peace on earth and in my soul. When I Dream, first track off the Storydwelling album. There's a couple little things I remember about that, Matt, when we were doing pre-production. For those of you who don't know, when an album is created, pre-production process happens. And I know you encouraged me to like create a little bit more movement in the chorus with the chord changes or something like that. You encouraged me to like slow down the strum or something on the verses. Mm-hmm. I remember all those little things, and I carry them with me to this day as I share that song with people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been for me like less is more. I think we ended up just like removing almost every other chord or something, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like less is more. Let's create more space. When you create more space, then people are going to connect with the lyric better, you know. Mm-hmm. And at that time, but even still, you know, I was really influenced a lot by T-Bone Burnett, who's just one of my favorite producers of all time. And I think that I had shown you like Sam Phillips, like Fan Dance and A Boot and a Shoe. I was really influenced by those records and wanted to kind of impart that kind of production style onto this album. And yeah, and I remember just playing you that stuff and you were like, oh yes, I would love to sound like that. And then when the guys came in, when Zach and Aaron and Tyler Burkham came in to play the bed tracks is what we call them.
Yes.
I remember telling them like, you guys, like, we get to make a record like all those records that we just love to make, you know, and everybody just was so excited. Like, oh, we don't have to make like a cheesy radio pop album. Like, this is an artist who cares about artistry, you know?
Yes,
and,
yes.
And I remember just wanting to have this like kind of signature thumbprint sound for this record. And I really feel like we got it. Having just the T-Bone Burnett vibe, you know, kind of in our back pocket. Like this is the target we're aiming for, you know, and all three of those guys just totally love those records, and so it was kind of it was a good match between you and I. It was a good match with the band and the influences and the kind of sonic palette we were working with, you know, and so
I love it so much. I remember actually Raising Sands, right? Raising Sands was a big influence as well. Did T-Bone Burnett produce that one?
He did, and they have a new record coming out. in November.
Nice.
Yep, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss have a new record coming out in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of crazy to me that we were influenced by that record so much when we did your album, and then they didn't do anything for forever. And now here you and I are meeting again and talking about this record that we're really influenced by, and yet they're releasing another record this year as well. So it's just interesting how
that's awesome.
That happens. So.
I thank you for reminding me of all of that. I forgot that like the guys were so stoked to do a record that sounded like this too. So that's fun to remember. Saying hello to Shannon. Shannon's here. Thank you for the congrats, Amy. All right, I'm gonna do this spiritual Wayfaring Stranger. All right. I am a poor wayfaring stranger while traveling through this world of woe. Yet there's no sickness, toil or danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there. Jordan, I'm only going over home. And I know dark clouds will hang around me. I know my way is rough and steep, yet beautiful fields arise before me, where God's redeemed their vigils keep. I'm going there to see my mother. I know she'll greet me. She'll greet me when I come. Oh, I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. Of glory when I get home
Yay!
Yay!
Round of applause.
Well, thank you very much. Speaking of home, I can go right into Home With You continues. Jason and I celebrate our 18th anniversary on Monday.
Wow, congrats.
So, yeah, thank you very much. So, here's Home With You. If we lived in a conversion van RV, taking music on the road the whole country will see, through the mountains, down highways to the city streets, the world our view, we're driving on to live our destiny. And if we lived in a northern woods cabin, all summer long on our table, fresh cut lavender lupins, sing along with robin's song from birch and poplar limbs, hike the trails, canoe the lakes, we live life strong and fierce, furnishing our lives with love and laughter. So size and styles, they don't really matter. I'd be at home with you, baby. I'd be at home with you, my love. All I need to make this house a home is for us to be together. My home is with you wherever we are. And if we lived in a tent city on Seattle streets, ignoring insult stares and glares and how pedestrians retreat, they don't know we both work jobs and still can't afford a roof. Beneath the tarps and open air, our love is weatherproof, furnishing our lives with love and laughter. So size and styles, they don't really matter. I'd be at home with you, baby, yeah. I'd be at home with you, my love. All I need to make this house a home is for us to be together. My home is with you. You helped me develop that song. I had not written that pre-chorus before our pre-production process together.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. You were like, it has all these verses. It doesn't have a bridge. So I think it needs a pre-chorus. And so I was like, so I had homework to do.
You accepted my challenge.
And I took it home and I wrote that adorable little pre-chorus.
That's perfect. It's a beautiful love song. It's not a cheesy love song. So thank you for not writing another cheesy love song.
Oh, well, I love that you said that, because that is the very first love song I ever wrote. And I remember for some reason, I don't know if this is like naive idealism or what, in my youth, being like, there's so many love songs already written. I'm not gonna write love songs. I'm gonna write about all this other stuff in life, But it just made sense to write that song one day, and a lot of people really love it. So yeah, and you helped it develop and mature. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah. Saying hello to Mark. Mark Swessinger is my vocal coach. He is here. Saying hello to Sarah and Dana Lee watching tonight. So thank you all for being here. Please do feel free to say hello. I don't know why I can see some of you are watching. Maybe you're my Facebook friends, and so I can see my Facebook friends pop on here. But anyway, we are celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Storydwelling album, released in 2011, and have my friend, special guest musician and producer Matt Patrick here. He has a Wikipedia page, y'all. So if you're bored with the next song, you could look up Matt Patrick producer Wikipedia page. My microphone just did a little twirly twirl. All right. Any other thoughts on that song, Matt?
I remember feeling like, okay, so that song doesn't necessarily like fit with the T-Bone Burnett vibe, because it is more of like a acoustic pop kind of love song. But everybody who was playing in the band also had a love for Mindy Smith, and so that was an influence for sure for that song. Like, how would Mindy Smith treat this song? I remember just kind of like using that as a target, and I feel like it sounds like it could be on a Mindy Smith record, which I think is high praise, so I think it's great.
I still sing her song "Come to Jesus."
Oh yeah,
that lullaby she wrote, it's so powerful. So yeah, awesome. I'd forgotten about that influence. That's awesome. Next up is Jack Riddle, written by my college friend Melissa Marley Bonnickson, and well, here we go. So what Matt might not know is that I turned Tyler Burkham's electric guitar line into a little line that everybody sings along when I'm doing this solo acoustically. So it goes like this. So all of you at home, you can snap your fingers, sing along on this part. My name is Jack Riddle, and I sit on a bench at Parkway in March, watching all the people pass me by. Folks here stay the stay in my heart by my West Virginia stream. Don't you worry, I'll stay away. Perhaps my Lord might visit me today. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause they say that I can't stay here. They say my hands don't touch this sky. They say that I can't stay. And they say, and they say, and they say. But my name is Jack. My name is Jack Riddle. My name is Jack, and you know where I'll be. Ba-da-ba-ba, 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 ba-da-ba-ba. Jack Riddle. Yes. That was also one that you encouraged some development with, like some chord progressions, because it was the chords, same chords all the way through. So you were like, let's give this some different like voicings in the chorus. It's especially a little bit different movement and voicing. So I don't know if you remember that, but I do.
I didn't remember that. Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
I remember just when we were tracking that one, you know, so the process is always, you know, like listen to the song, show the band the song, talk about direction, possible direction. I'm a very collaborative producer, and so I always want to hear from the musicians of what they hear and what they want to do, and I never like lead with an iron fist, you know, like that's my way or the highway, you know. And so I'm always open to the musicians might have a better direction or idea than me, so I'm always open to that. But sometimes it's the best thing to give direction wise is what I'm not looking for, you know? And so we were really creating a collection of songs that were really artistic, you know, and this is a very poppy song. And, you know, so one of the things I remember saying is like, I just don't want this to be like a Jason Mraz song, you know, like that's like this very like pop radio thing. And that's not what we're looking for. So what can we do to lean this song more towards, you know, an artistic thing? And so like, let's not do like Jason Mraz, I'm Yours, you know, there's nothing wrong with that song, but even the lyrics of Jack Riddle, it's more like a Bob Dylan song to me, you know. It's a story song. It's got way more lyrical depth to it than just another cheesy love song like I'm Yours. And so
for sure,
let's not do that to it, and instead impart some like artistry to this. And then what would it sound like? And I feel like everybody in the band did a really great job of kind of letting it be you know, a ukulele pop song without making it be this polished, you know, radio pop thing. So
and why did we do the ukulele on it? Was I already playing this song on the ukulele, or did we just decide to do something different? Okay, that's a detail I don't recall.
Yeah. Did you write it on ukulele or no?
My friend wrote it on guitar. She wrote it with a little bit more of an Americana style. Yeah. And for those of you who are, so last year, not just a month ago, September, but last year during the main part of the pandemic, September, I turned 40, and I did a whole day online festival. And I had Melissa, who wrote that song, on that show, and she talked about the writing of that song, and she sang it the way that she wrote it, and it was really special. Cool. So for any of you who are curious, you can go back to the Heatherlyn's 40th birthday online festival. That was a feat, man. Whole day online, just guests. I didn't even perform. I just hosted a bunch of performers, and it was a blast. Yeah. The whole day. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do something big for my 40th, and we were in the middle of a freaking pandemic. Right. So, yeah.
my wife turned 40 during the pandemic as well. And for my 40th birthday, she threw a big, huge party for me, and I couldn't do that for her. So I contacted all of her friends and family and said, like, just send me a 30-second to 3-minute video, and ended up compiling this big, huge video for her to watch on her 40th birthday. And it ended up being 45 minutes long. we were like 15 minutes into it, and she was like, this is really long. And I'm like, oh, we're like a third of the way through it. She's like, what?
Wow.
So I understand.
What a gift. That is wonderful. That is so wonderful. Oh my goodness. So I think I need to say hello to a couple of people. Christy here from South Carolina. Congrats on this milestone. Thank you so much, Christy. And Dee is here. Nice to see you. Happy you popped on. And it looks like Carl and Hans have become Facebook friends because you all have connected here. So that's awesome. You both are patrons and supporters. So we love you guys and appreciate your presence and love seeing y'all connect too. That's beautiful. Love it when music connects people. So good. Tonight we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Storydwelling album, released initially in 2011. It was recorded at the Library Recording Studio by musician and producer Matt Patrick. So he's our special guest tonight. And I'm going to keep going along here because we got some more songs to do. And Matt and I are reminiscing, remembering things about the process and all that. So thank you for bearing witness, and please do feel free to comment. That is the way that we know you are here. That's the way we do this live stream thing. That's how we feel your energy and know your presence, is through your comments. So thanks for your emojis and your hearts and your hand clapping emojis and all the things. It really means a lot. It makes a difference. This next song is Be the Love. Defying all hatred, be the love beyond toleration, be the love before pride and exaltation, be the love, be the love. Be the hope for the children's salvation, be the peace for the nation's reconciliation, be the life that says yes to all creation, be the love, be the love. Oh, destruction's always easier than creation, but all things created are sacred. Destruction's always easier than creation, but all things created are sacred. So be the healing for the orphan born with AIDS, be the strength a neighbor's burden raise, be the star that guides us through this haze, be the love, be the love, be the love, be the love. Be the light, be the peace, be the love, be the light, be the peace, be the love, be the light, be the hope, be the peace, be the love. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, Tamara, and Terry's here. Good to see you all. Mark Swess says, I love this bridge. It's such an extraordinary contrast to the rest of the song. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you appreciate that. It does go out of key like a couple of times, I think. Intentionally, consistently. Yeah. So this next song, Peace on Earth, I'll go ahead and sing it. But I remember some very special things that you did on the production of this, Matt. So shall we tell them afterwards?
Sure.
About it? Okay. Okay. Peace on Earth. Life together has been tattered and torn. Seams have been ripped apart and oh so worn. Bring all your extra patches and your colorful threads. Together we'll sew stitch by stitch. We'll mend for peace on earth. Goodness to all. Pray for posers, oppressors, imposters. Prayers of blessing make every heart softer. Thoughts and words of life to foes and to friends. Through us the angel's song will never ever end. For peace on earth, goodness to all. No matter whatever wounds we have sworn, forever forgive what's offended before. In every heart reverberating, in every movement we are aspiring for peace on earth, goodness to all. Love your enemies. It's kind of an intense song. Peace on Earth, y'all. We're here. Hey, Dan, nice to see you as well. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Storydwelling album, and my friend, musician, producer Matt Patrick is here to help reminisce and celebrate with us. So we're chatting about the making of this album at his studio, the Library Recording Studio. You did some very special stuff with this, though, in your own home. That song.
I have a photograph right here
Mm-hmm.
of me playing pots and pans
Pots and
in my
pans.
kitchen. Yeah.
It's so elemental, my dear Watson.
Yeah, I don't know. I like
Mm-hmm.
non-traditional instruments when appropriate, and that
Yeah.
song just felt spooky to me, and the clanging
Mm-hmm.
of pots and pans just felt right for that, and so I just brought some mallets home and set up a single microphone and reverbed out all these kind of pots and pans clanging all over the place, and just kind of tucked them in underneath the song, and I don't know, it just felt right. It just felt right to me.
It really did. I mean, way to go with your gut and create something really brilliant, because that song, I mean, there's a lot of etherealness to it, right? Like there's a lot of like ambient vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's pain, like it's a lament, and there's longing. And I feel like you nailed it, where you brought in this, you made it very atmospheric, and also had this undercurrent of cacophony and the chaos that is being addressed, right? Like that desire for harmony in that chaos. I think it was a really brilliant move, man. Like brilliant.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And I know earlier you were talking about our influences, and T-Bone Burnett and Robert Plant, Alison Krauss, Raising Sands, and Mindy Smith, and I don't, Mavis Staples, that's right. Jason was just remembering that.
Yep.
And you know, I've shared this album, of course, with different people along the way. Not only fans, but people, you know, I've collaborated with, and they listen to this album, and they notice that like maybe my voice has matured or something, but other than that, they're like, this sounds timeless. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's not an album that was just dropped into 2011 and just stays there, right? Like it's
right, totally.
Yeah.
Good. That's success to me. That's always my hope with any record, you know?
Yes.
Put it on and have the listener go, I have no idea when this was recorded. It could have been this year. It could have been 20 years ago. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
And when I began to write songs, I was very intentional about making sure I didn't want to be a songwriter about which people could say like all her songs sound the same, you know?
Right. Yep.
And so you did a great job of taking all these songs that sound really different and creating a cohesive kind of storyline right through the album.
Yeah, right.
So I love that. I'm going a little bit out of order now, but it's because I'm on this instrument and I like playing these three songs: "Be the Love, Peace on Earth," and "Rosebud" now on this guitar. I don't think I had this one. We were working in the studio together, but it's, you know, it's a nylon string electric, and it has this nice warm vibey sound to it. Baby, hear the loons sing their lullaby, love songs on the water. Now don't you cry, Mama will always hold you tight. Listen to the loons sing their lullaby. Baby, hear the waves on the shore. No matter what the tide, you can be sure Daddy is loving you more and more. Listen to the waves on the shore. Rosebud, baby blue day, this is your sleep sweetly lullaby. Baby, hear the silence of the lake. You are just as quiet now, don't you wake. 'Cause if there's a storm or constant calm, I'll still be with you to sing you this song. Listen to the silence of the lake. Rosebud, baby blue day, this is your sleep sweetly lullaby. Rosebud, baby blue jay, this is your sleep sweetly lullaby. This is your sleep sweetly lullaby. Rosebud. I remember we decided to keep that one really, really simple. So Ben Rosenbush came in with his gorgeous cello, and I listened back to this. You know, we've been releasing these 10th anniversary lyric videos every week. And so I was listening back to Rosebud, watching the video, checking it for any edits that needed to be made and whatever. And that cello, I mean, it sounds like you're in a boat. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Especially that end line, the da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da. It's so lullaby-like. It's just perfect.
Oh.
So you're frozen.
I'm frozen. Look at that. That's fun.
I'm gonna try fixing that. We're gonna go to Matt.
Jason's gonna try fixing my frozen screen, so you all can look at the adoring face of my friend Matt Patrick, musician and producer. He has a Wikipedia page.
We're gonna go live to Chopper 1. Yeah, we're gonna do a rocker slow down here on 494.
Would you hand me my acoustic guitar, please, Jason?
Yes. Let's see if that comes back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well.
it's still...
I mean, at least it's kind of cute, right? Like, I mean, it could be frozen with me making a really funny, funny. Oh.
It does look a little psycho.
It looks a little psycho?
It's a little psycho, yeah.
I love it. So I want to mention Carl Anderson made this lovely comment. Your songs most certainly do not sound the same, but your message of love comes through constantly. Carl, thank you. That is like totally my heart. So I'm so glad that that's happening. And then Terry is noting, may all parents mourning living children feel the smooth water, see the moon, and listen to the silence on your own life's melody. May you sleep sweetly tonight and rise determined tomorrow. #end family court corruption. Okay, yes, thank you for your voice, Terry. I will be sharing more about the story behind the last 3 tracks on the album, Rosebud, Put on Your Climbing Shoes, and You'll Never Know. Each week, in addition to releasing the lyric videos to everyone, I've been creating a patron-exclusive video giving a little bit more in-depth background to the writing of the songs and things like that. And there is, I wrote that song for some friends of mine, and there's a lot more to the story that I would love to share with you if you're a patron or would like to become one. At patreon.com/HeatherlynMusic. You see how I'm just keeping going, even though I mean, you could just turn the camera on and off, I suppose, and see what happens. We'll still stay live. So glad you all are here. For the freeze frame. Thanks for bearing witness to the freeze frame. Love it. You know, we started live streaming back in 2016 with a Mevo camera. It's this tall, skinny camera that a lot of people live stream with now. And that's when we started the Patreon community. And so grateful to all of you who support us and help create livelihood and right livelihood for my creative work, especially now some of you know that I'm learning to navigate the challenges of ADHD now that I've been diagnosed at 40 years old, and how I can do the executive functioning jobs that are required for an independent entrepreneurial musician, as well as continue to be creative. So Matt, maybe I should ask something about you since you're not freeze-framed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about we let people know? I mean, I have a few more songs, but and one of them I'm doing like a condensed version because it's "You Gotta Move When the Spirit Says Move." So essentially, like 3.5 songs left. But while Jason is troubleshooting my glitchy freeze frame. Maybe I'm so happy for my audience here to know you and to meet you tonight. The producer of the Storydwelling album. We're celebrating the 10-year anniversary for anyone who's just popping on and stopping by. What are you? Oh, we're back. I'm still gonna follow through with asking you, what are you up to today? 10 years ago, and it was probably actually more like 11 years ago, we were working on this in the studio, and then we released it.
It was released 10 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm busier than ever. I have upwards of 12 different clients, all different styles of music. I'm even working with a hip hop artist right now, and I'm doing a lot of like sampling stuff off of records and assembling beats for him, and that's been really fun and a really interesting challenge for me, and a lot of joy in that. A lot of singer-songwriter stuff, similar to what we did with your record, and a lot of really new stuff too. I'm going to be mixing an album for an artist named Ben Noble, who's very like pop electronic stuff, but really avant-garde and abstract, and it's just really, really beautiful and wonderful, odd stuff. And so, I'm staying busier than ever. And if anybody's interested in finding out more about me or my recording studio, the best way would be to go to my Instagram, which is just Library Studio.
Nice, yeah.
And I've done a bunch of, I've got a series called Unusual Instruments. So you saw a picture of me playing the pots and pans on that one song. And so every single episode, I've got, I think 21 of them have been released, where I talk about a different unusual instrument that I have at the studio and kind of feature it and talk about popular songs that instrument might have been on. And then I usually will showcase a song that I've put that unusual instrument on as well. And so go to Library Studio on Instagram. Give me a follow, give me a like, and check out those Unusual Instruments videos on that series. I think you'll enjoy it.
I love it. And if you've been following me on Instagram, I've been tagging Matt, the Library Studio, at Library Studio on Instagram. So you can find that easily and readily there. But it is really straightforward. & Library Studio.
That's right.
Yes. And I love that. I know you played the marxophone on at least one of my songs on the Storydwelling album.
I think the first one.
When I Dream.
When I Dream, yeah. When We Dream, yeah.
Yeah. And in creating, like a playlist for these 10th anniversary lyric videos, I also went back as I was preparing each of the Patreon exclusive weekly videos. I went back to find like the video of you doing the pots and pans in your kitchen for Peace on Earth, and found our whole playlist of little videos we created in the studio while we were making this, like songs that you and I did together, solo acoustic, and little snippets about like the marxophone and instruments like that. So I love that you do that. I think that's really fascinating and interesting.
Oh, and there was one of me playing the bell plates, those triangular metal plates, and I did an Unusual Instruments episode on the bell plates as well.
I love it, Matt. You're a genius, man.
I'm a nerd.
You're a
weird
nerd.
nerd.
All right. The next song I'll do is it's another spiritual we put on the album. Deep, vibey, makes sense for everything that we've been talking about with our influences, and just how earthy and how nuanced the sound is. So You Gotta Move When the Spirit Says Move. On the album, you had this idea to like extend it out, and then we did a little bit of riffing on this idea of like how if you don't have love, you got nothing. And it was a brilliant little creative moment in the studio. Like normally before recording an album in a studio, you've got it practiced, you've got it rehearsed, you've got it down the way you want it so that you can just get it recorded as quickly as possible, right? But that was a beautiful, magical moment of like, oh, hey, let's take people on a journey here with this. And I loved that. So I'm not going to do that.
I think I remember even like getting on the talkback mic and like feeding you lines to sing. Do you remember that? I feel like I was like, because it wasn't, I was just like, oh, just go and just like start singing things and like, what about singing this? And like, you were just, you were kind of collaborating in the moment and like, it was just this really great thing and piece it all together. And it's wonderful.
This song and Put On Your Climbing Shoes, something like that happened as well. Very, very cool. All right. Well, I'm just going to sing a little bit of You Gotta Move, kind of like the way I've been singing it now, just for kicks. It's good. You gotta move when the Spirit says move. You gotta move when the Spirit says move. 'Cause when the Spirit says move, you gotta move, oh Lord. You gotta move when the Spirit says move. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. 'Cause when the Spirit says dance, you gotta dance, oh Lord. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. Ba-da-ba-bow, ba-ba-dow, ba-ba-bow, ba-da-ba-bow. Says love. You gotta love when the Spirit says love. 'Cause when the Spirit says love, you gotta love, oh Lord. You gotta love when the Spirit says love. You gotta move when the Spirit says move. Yeah, you gotta move when the Spirit says move. One thing that does, even though we didn't do it that way on the album, it reminds me of how we added in this sort of vaudeville feel for a couple of songs. And that was so interesting and unique and unexpected for me, but like totally right. And I feel like we did do that vaudeville thing for this song and another one, I think, right?
I don't remember which one, but yes.
Yeah. How did you think of that? Like,
well, I mean, some of it has to do with just certain vibes that T-Bone Burnett has created with some other tunes. I'm trying to think of specific ones, but that doesn't really matter. The thing that I keep thinking about is that, you and I, we kind of both had church backgrounds, but didn't want to make a Christian album, We were both very vocal about that, But there's something about listening to like spirituals, and there's something about listening to like bluegrass where, like the average like evangelical Christian doesn't look at bluegrass or spirituals and say like, yeah, that's ours. You know what I mean? And so there's something so, I don't know, refreshing about making these songs that are very spiritual without being these like hyper evangelical Christian songs,
Right.
And so, I really feel like we kind of did a good job, of trying to bridge that.
I feel like we got to the heart of them, right? The heart that resonates with most anybody in the world who like gives a damn, right? About life and love and sharing life together. And so yeah, thank you for teaming up with me with that intention. And that actually leads really nicely into this song, We Have a Dream. And this song, we made reggae on the album. This song, I play it all kinds of different ways depending on the day. I don't know why. There's some songs that are established and like, this is the strum and whatever. But for some reason, I don't know. Let's see what happens today. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. Me and you. Have a dream for freedom and peace, the whole earth reconciled. So color my world with love. I wanna live with arms open wide. We've heard the sky must be darkest for stars to really shine bright. So we'll pray a song for redemption draws nigh. A dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. Me and you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Keep the dream alive in your eyes, a clear, bright, vivid vision. Don't let your worries or fears deter your heart's deep hope and devotion. No, 'cause even with complexity, woes of economy and even recession, we've still got a whole lot of love each other and a big imagination. Make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. Come to me and you. Yeah. It's been interesting. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember with that one, I wasn't really sure. Like that one was the one that was the trickiest one, I think, for me in like telling the band, like, oh, here's what we should do with it. And every song is like a model, and you put a different costume on that model or a different outfit on that model, and it like transforms them literally. And so I was like, man, what are we going to send this model out wearing, you know? And so, because it had like a kind of a reggae vibe to it, you know, but we didn't want to just like make a reggae song. Like that would have stuck out like a sore thumb, but it needed to have a little bit of those influences. And so do you remember what song I played for them that I was kind of using as the go-to for them?
Watching the Detective, Elvis Costello.
So I didn't, but Jason remembered. Yeah. Oh man.
Elvis Costello. Watching the detectives, and it had this like total reggae thing, but it was this like kind of, you know, like rock, you know, alternative rock thing happening. And so I was just like, what if we did this to it, like let it be a little bit of a reggae influence, but not just like go strictly straight reggae, Like that would have been a little bit too on the nose, I think. And so if you listen to the recording, I think the guys just totally nailed that like rock reggae vibe,
Yeah, they totally did. And I know we also, there was almost like we created like a spoken bridge too. And I feel like, I don't know if it was because you were like, let's create a space and do something here. And then I remember like I just said a few lines that I guess reflect my, current, or, at the time, my current philosophy about like having dreams and fulfilling them and being about that work together. I don't know. It was interesting to even, I don't like sit around listening to my albums, right? So it was like because of this 10-year anniversary that I like went back and listened and, yeah, it's just been a really neat thing. So I'm really happy that you were able to pop on today too, because I know that you're busier than you ever have been, and I'm so glad for people to meet you and hear about your approach to the philosophy of producing. And gosh, I had forgotten. You might have told me that back in the day, but thinking of songs as models and how do you dress them and send them out into the world. That's great.
What costume are we going to put on this thing?
Yeah.
Before we send it out.
Yeah. Hans likes that too. Hans says, well, that's the beauty of live music. I love that same song can be played differently depending on the mood. Yep. Thank you. And then love that turn of phrase. Every song is like a model. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well, y'all, thank you so much for being here for this Live Online with Heatherlyn episode. That arbitrary series that we created out of nothing back in 2016, it became a weekly thing during the main portion of the pandemic. And we tapered off a little bit because people, I think, were getting screen fatigued and wanted to get back out into the world. But we are resuming some live streams this fall. And tonight is a very special night because we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the release of my Storydwelling album. And I got to collaborate with the brilliant Matt Patrick for that. He's so brilliant, he has a Wikipedia page.
Is that what it takes?
So if you're like a Matt Patrick producer, you can find all sorts of interesting details about him.
Way too many.
But also, please do check out the Library Recording Studio. And he works with lots of incredible artists. So I feel honored I got to work with you on this album, Matt. And we have a couple of more songs. I'm going to do You'll Never Know and then close with Put On Your Climbing Shoes. So I guess either now or think about before, between these next two songs, if there's anything else that you want to make sure you share with people. And you all out there watching, thank you for being here, for celebrating together. And we do hope that you've been catching those 10th anniversary edition lyric videos. We have been Jason's been displaying some virtual tip jars if you'd like to say thank you for this experience tonight that you're receiving. And we hope that you have shared. And if you haven't shared this live stream, please feel free to do that so that more folks can connect and enjoy and experience this together. And also want to welcome you to consider becoming a part of our Patreon community. This month of October, as we've been celebrating the 10th anniversary of Storydwelling, I've also been creating a weekly Patreon exclusive video. So patrons get, of all levels, really get the same thing because it's a little tiny revolution of love that's non-transactional and it's very relational. And I love that and feel really supported and grateful for y'all. So that is also scrolling if you're interested in checking that out. This song is very dear to me. This is one that I don't perform all the time. And there was a time that I couldn't really perform it without just kind of being taken over by emotion, And it's so tender. And I feel like it was a very sacred thing to bring it to Matt in the studio, that magical space, and be like, okay, so here's a really really tender part of my story that I've put in song, and he helped me share it all with you the way that we have in the Storydwelling album. So I'm really grateful. But this is You'll Never Know. You should see the came through blueberry fields. Homemade muffins will bake in the morning, holding her favorite bear for a bedtime story, hoping for fireflies and fairies in her dreams. But you'll never know what you've been missing. She had to go when you wouldn't stop your drinking. Your little girl grows. She's smart in school and really likes singing, but you'll never know what you've been missing. Did you ever wonder what will she be like? Even once ponder, wish I'd never let her out of my sight. Guess if I had to choose, I'd take abandonment over abuse. But either way, the both of us lose. I'll never know what we've been missing. She had to go when you wouldn't stop your beating. Your little girl's all grown, living dreams, yeah, life goes on, but neither one of us can ever know all we've been missing. You'll Never Know, which is actually the final track on the Storydwelling album, but I didn't want to end this show with that song. So second to
I
last.
was going to say, thank you for cracking open your heart and letting the world see its deepest parts with that song. It's a really beautiful song, and
thank you.
It's such a fragile song, and I remember telling the band, like, there's a fragility to this song. I don't want anybody to play too hard. Everybody has to play soft. And my favorite moment, production-wise, on that particular song is Aaron Fabrini, who played bass on the album, is also a fantastic pedal steel player, and his pedal steel playing on that song is just, it's just weepy. It just works so perfectly with this fragile song. And so if you haven't heard it on the album, you should check it out for that, as well as it just being a very beautiful, fragile song.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Thank you, Brian Pierce. Brian's here. I get to collaborate with Brian. Plays bass beautifully and has a beautiful heart. So thanks for being here, Brian, and thanks for your words, Carl. And yeah, Matt, thank you for mentioning the pedal steel. I remembered mostly the toy piano that you put on this. And I think it has the most piano in it. Like, of all the songs, it has the most piano. And you had a toy piano in the library recording studio that you added to it, which is a really sweet touch. It was awesome.
It's got that childlike thing, you know? And you're talking about your childhood, or, you know, the childhood that you wish you could have had but didn't, you know? And so, yeah, it was kind of sadly fit, you know.
Yeah. Well, I loved the touches you did on that, and thanks for honoring that space too, because it's still tender to me. It's still a fragile song, but these days it's not quite as hard for me to sing it and put it out there. I don't know if that's like, people say that grief doesn't actually shrink, but we grow around grief, and so I guess with time and growth, it I don't know, somehow seems a little bit easier to share, but it's still very close and very tender,
Yeah.
So I appreciate just like you honoring. I mean, there's some songs that are like you could have said anything about any other song, right? But like that song, it was like, yeah. So the next tune, "Put on Your Climbing Shoes," we'll close the show with this one. So I want to make sure we say everything we want to say, because we'll just close out with this. But I'm going to play it like my solo acoustic style, since that's how we are today. Still moving through the pandemic, bringing you in here from Minnesota, us in Denver, Colorado currently. But you created a really fun band arrangement for this. So I hope that if people haven't heard the Storydwelling album version of "Put on Your Climbing Shoes," that you will definitely find it on Bandcamp, Spotify, wherever you listen to your music. Find Heatherlyn Music, Storydwelling album, "Put on Your Climbing Shoes." I don't know. Do you have anything you want to say about it?
I mean, it's just, this one kind of jams, like this was the one where I was just like, you guys just need to let go and just let loose and just have fun with this one, and they really did. They really did. There was one other thing that I wanted to say about the one song that you aren't doing.
Oh, Modernity. Yes. Thank you.
And I wanted at least just, if you aren't going to perform it, which is, it's tough to do a spoken word piece, but what people don't realize was one of the most magical things that I've ever been a part of recording actually happened with Modernity. And that was like, hey guys, you're just going to go out there and you're just going to like improvise. And she's going to do this spoken word thing. And we did it all live. And it was, what people don't realize is it was one take. And I was listening to Modernity yesterday and I just forgot about all these magical little moments, how like Zach had never even heard it before, and he's like playing the drums like in rhythm with some of your lines, and it just had this natural growth, and then it like came back down again, and it's really a magical piece on that album. And I don't want anybody, especially you, Heatherlyn, to be like, well, that's the spoken word thing. And so, no, it was a really magical moment that happened in the studio. And I remember after it happened, because it was just one take all the way through. There were no edits even, And after it was done, I remember Tyler Burkham, I could hear him like howl laughing from the guitar room all the way into the control room. And he was just like ecstatic. He's like, I've never done anything like that before. That was so cool, And so,
oh my gosh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for remembering that, Matt. I mean, I didn't even put it on my set list tonight because I was like, I don't even know if I can do that. Oh, I'm frozen again. Oh, just beaming at you all.
You look like you're just intently listening to me.
I'm just taking it in. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You figured out how to fix it, though.
Well,
so
we
at least wanted to be able to just
okay.
talk about that. I want to be able to talk about that since you weren't going to do it, because it was a really magical moment, and I love listening to it because it was just one take of those guys just improvising the whole way through. So,
oh, thank you so much for that. And that really was my first recorded spoken word piece, and I have done other poetry since. But and in fact, I am going to embark on another album project. I have done, collaborations, and my dear friend, my good buddy and collaborator Ben Grace, for the Love, created the Being Breathed EP. He wanted more practice as a producer, and he was like, "Here's my 3 songs of yours that are my favorite," and so I want to let's get these out there, and so that was beautiful and fun. And So connecting with the Denver community here, I'm going to work with Seth and China Kent. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but if you ever come out here to visit your family in Fort Collins, it would be really lovely to like introduce y'all with your just all y'all's skills and hearts for creativity and artistry and music. And so we are actually in the next month going to launch the Indiegogo. I haven't done a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo since we did Storydwelling.
Wow.
Partly because it's terrifying.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So that's going to be called Heatherlyn's Musical Apothecary, bringing in some of my, some of my most medicinal, meditative songs, and weaving in a little bit of spoken word that sort of guides an experience. Bringing in some of my yoga background, and which I now have, which I didn't have when we were doing the Storydwelling album. But so anyway, just that's a connection. I did actually want to mention that on this show. I want you all out there who are watching and part of this journey with us to have that in mind, that we are going to launch that next month. And if we have ever had the pleasure, the honor, the delight of sharing an experience of medicinal music together, I would so appreciate your testimonials, because that would help uplift the project and invite people to be a part of it. So as we, you were saying, Matt, that Robert Plant and Alison Krauss haven't made another album since Raising Sands, and so like I've been doing all the stuff, right, touring independently and doing all these collaborations, but haven't actually done a full length album since Storydwelling. So we're gonna launch that next month on the heels of this celebration. It's time. It is time, and I think I finally feel like I can handle the terrifying aspects of it. So again, thank you for mentioning that about modernity. You all should check it out if you haven't yet. All right. Is there anything else I need to say? Anything else you would like to say? I want people to check out the Library Recording Studio. Follow Matt on Instagram, &Library Studio. I've been tagging him on many of my posts this month, so you can connect with him. Thank you for being here, for listening, being a witness as we reminisce and share the story of creating this album, this timeless album. And y'all will have to stay tuned for live streams coming up this fall and this winter, because there will definitely be musical apothecary sessions, and there will be, me, carols and holiday shows online as well coming up. So, I guess, okay, anything else from you, Matt?
I don't think so. Just put on some climate shoes.
You good? Okay, all right, awesome. We'll bring you back up just to say goodbye to everybody. So thanks for being here. Corey, love to see you here. And Hans, thanks again for your interaction and engagement. Never too late to share this live stream if you wanna. Put on your climbing shoes. Set out on this journey, brothers and sisters, with provisions of love, grace, and forgiveness. With conviction, we are all intrinsically connected, with so much in common and with beautiful difference. Put on your climbing shoes, put on your climbing shoes, put on your shoes, take me with you to the mountain top. Keep on climbing, we'll never stop. Wade through streams, press on and push against the wind. Take my hand, build trust, know my friend, you'll help me up. Sometimes we'll run and hurdle, sometimes we'll trip and stumble over rocks and crags, steep passageways. Love will lift us. Put on your climbing shoes, put on your climbing shoes, put on your shoes, take me with you to the mountain top. to bloom. Ooh, storm cloud showers, thunder and drenching rain collide with sunshine rays of light to ribbons of colorful change. Put on your climbing shoes, put on your climbing shoes, put on your shoes, take me with you to the mountain top. Keep on climbing, we'll never stop. Yeah, keep on hiking and we'll scale the heights. Keep on walking, walk by faith, not by sight. Ooh, put on your shoes. Put on your shoes. Ooh. Yeah, put on your shoes, my people. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Matt Patrick. Look him up. Bless you. Peace to you and yours. May you be well. Yeah. Later, y'all.